The
Madam
Supreme
Clerk,
Court is,
please proceed with opening court.
the Supreme Court is now in session. The Honorable F. Philip Carbolito, Chief Justice presiding.
Good morning, councils, and I will ask, will the clerk please call the first case?
CVA 20-001, Gerard A. Cruz, Plaintiff Appellee versus Carmelita C. Cruz, Defendant Appellant. Appearing for the Defendant Appellant is Attorney Nicole G. Cruz. Appearing for the Plaintiff Appellee is Attorney James M. Maher. The panel consists of Chief Justice F. Philip Carbolito, Associate Justice Robert J. Torres, and Justice Pro Tem John A. Manglona.
Councils, you have heard the panel as constituted. First of all, any objection to the panel?
No, Chief Justice.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. This is for Attorney Nicole Cruz and James Maher. I'm sorry.
That's correct.
For the record, Jim, was that you? I was.
Yes, Chief Justice.
Okay, there's no objection to the panel. And
No objection.
the briefing in this matter is complete. There are no pending motions. Oral argument in this case, it's the first case of the week of appellate arguments. It's scheduled for Monday, May 17th at 10 a.m. Councils, any objection to the day and time in which this matter is scheduled for arguments?
No, Chief Justice.
No, Chief Justice.
Okay, so I'm going to, I will ask counsel for the appellant to speak first and then the appellee, and we'll proceed in that order throughout our hearing this morning. Thank you, councils. And so we look forward to seeing you on Monday, May 7th at 10 a.m. Will the clerk please call the next case?
Chief Justice, did you say May 7th or 17th?
May 17th, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you for correcting me.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
CVA 20-004, Ian M. McConaughey, Plaintiff Appellee versus Bruna Patelli McConaughey, Defendant Appellant, and First Amendment Coalition, Intervenor Appellant. Appearing for the intervenor is Attorney Joshua D. Walsh. Appearing for the Plaintiff Appellee is Attorney William B. Brennan. Appearing for the Defendant Appellee People of Guam is Attorney Marianne Woloschuk. The panel consists of Chief Justice F. Philip Carbolito, Associate Justice Catherine A. Merriman, and Justice Pro Tem John A. Manglona.
All right, my first question is for the people. Will the people be arguing in this case? Marianne?
Your Honor, I'm thinking that the court should inquire first whether it still has jurisdiction over this case. I haven't discussed yet whether with the counsel for the father, whether we would be arguing, but I believe not. But there have been developments that I believe the court should inquire into.
All right, we'll proceed first in reference to the panel, and then we'll address your concerns. So is there any objection to the panel? Justice Torres has recused himself, and as you've heard from the clerk, Justice Manglona is the Justice Pro Tem. Any objection, counsels, to the panel as constituted?
Mr. Chief Justice, this is Joshua Walsh on behalf of the Intervenor Appellant First Amendment Coalition. We have no objection to the panel, no objection to the date, and I'll just for the court's information, let the court know that my co-counsel from the First Amendment Coalition, Mr. Volek, who has been admitted pro hoc vice into this matter in July of 2020, he will be arguing the matter that day.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. And Mr. Brennan?
Thank you, Mr. Chief Justice. On behalf of Plaintiff Appellee, Mr. Ian McConaughey, we have no objection to the date and no objection to the panel as constituted. As of today, I will be arguing on the 18th.
All right. And briefing this matter is complete. And my notes showed, Ms. Woloschuk, that there are no pending motions. Can you please clarify your concern?
It's something I only just learned, and I believe that counsel for the father would actually have personal knowledge of this. My knowledge of this comes from the record below, which is sealed. So if the father doesn't disclose it, then I suppose I would do a Rule 13 letter with a document under seal that would enlighten the court as to what the development is.
The option of how to proceed, but if you are raising the jurisdiction issue, we do that through a motion. And so this matter is scheduled for oral arguments on May 18th. It's incumbent upon whoever is challenging jurisdiction or has concerns about jurisdiction that they file it with the appropriate motion, and that needs to be done rather quickly because we are proceeding with the oral arguments in this case. And to my knowledge, there is no jurisdiction question pending before the court.
Your Honor, I will file a motion forthwith.
All right, thank you. So the case has been scheduled and the briefing is complete. There are no objection to the panel, and we'll address the concerns of Attorney Woloschuk when the appropriate motion is filed.
Your Honor, if I may, I apologize.
Mr. Brennan.
So I just want to be clear that a plaintiff appellee will have the full 30 minutes if the government hasn't answered on whether they'll be arguing, as they are also an appellee listed in the caption. So just if we could clarify on that issue, just so we can prepare for the 18th, notwithstanding the anticipated motion.
All right, so counsels, because there is a question, I'd like some communication through the clerk's office in reference to how the appellees will handle oral arguments, if they're going to share time. And if so, if an agreement is worked out, if not, then the court will address the issue and make the appropriate decision order in dividing up your time, should that be the case. And if not, then whoever is will be arguing the case, let the court know if it's any different. All right. Okay. Will the clerk please call the next case?
CRA 20-005, People of Guam Plaintiff Appellee versus Jordan Saul Rushalap, Defendant Appellant. Appearing for the Defendant Appellant is Attorney William Benjamin Pohl. Appearing for the Plaintiff Appellee is Attorney Marianne Woloschuk. The panel consists of Chief Justice Philip Carbolito, Associate Justice Robert J. Torres, and Associate Justice Catherine A. Merriman.
Councils, you have heard the panel as constituted. First issue, is there any objection to the panel?
On behalf of the defendant appellant, Your Honor, Attorney William Pohl, no objection to the panel or to the date and time of the oral argument.
Thank you, Mr. Pohl. Ms. Woloschuk?
Your Honor, we also have no objection to the panel or the argument date, which I understand is May 19th at 10 a.m.
That's
Thank
correct.
you.
Wednesday, May 19th at 10 a.m. Via our virtual platform. Thank you, councils. And that completes the discussion in this case. And will the clerk please call the next case?
CVA 20-008, Joaquin V. Leon Guerrero, individually and as a taxpayer, plaintiff appellant, versus Government of Guam, Guam Department of Administration, and Edward Byrne in his capacity as director, defendant's appellee. Appearing for the plaintiff appellant is Attorney Braddock J. Huseman. Appearing for the defendant appellees is Attorney Jordan Lawrence Palhoun. The panel consists of Associate Justice Robert J. Torres, Associate Justice Catherine A. Merriman, and Justice Pro Tem John A. Manglotnia.
Affidavit counsels, I'll be the presiding justice in this case since the Chief Justice has recused himself. Briefing is complete in this matter. There are no pending motions. As you heard, oral argument will be scheduled for Wednesday, May 19th, 2021 at 2 p.m. and it'll be done virtually. Is there any objection to the panel as constituted or the date and time of oral argument, Mr. Huesman?
No, Your Honor, we have no objections to either.
And Mr. Paulin?
I have no objections to the panel. I do have a concern about the oral argument time, as I'm also scheduled at 10 a.m. the next morning for oral arguments, and I'm not sure that that's a sufficient time to prepare for the second oral arguments.
There is a question that remains as to the disposition potentially of the case that is scheduled for Tuesday, May 18th at 10 o'clock. We've heard there might be a motion to dismiss that's filed. Depending on the disposition of that motion, would both of you be available on Tuesday, the 18th? Just as a backup, for now, I think we will keep the date and time for 2 o'clock, or because we've confirmed this with Justice Manglotnya. But first of all, how about Tuesday as a backup plan? And the clerk will notify you once we are aware of that.
Tuesday, this is Brett Huesman, Your Honor. Tuesday, the 18th as a backup plan is fine for us.
Okay, and how about you, Mr. Paulin?
That would be fine with me as well.
All right, so it depends on the disposition of that motion. So we're not clear what will occur with that. And I'm not on that case, but once something crystallizes, the clerk will let us know. Justice Merriman has the third backup plan, or maybe the second. We'll have to confirm this with Justice Manglotnya. Are you available on Monday at 10 a.m.? Monday the 25th at 10 a.m.
Is that Memorial Day?
Is it Memorial Day? No, it is not Memorial Day. Let me see, hang on. Give me a second. Monday, the 24th, Memorial Day is the 31st.
Okay.
So it'll be Monday, the 24th at 10 a.m.
Yes, I'm available then.
Does that date work for both of you, Mr. Huesman and Mr. Paulin?
Yes, Your Honor.
That works for me as well.
All right, so we will contact Justice Manglotnya, and we'll either plan on going Tuesday at 10 a.m., depending on the disposition of the motion, or Monday at 10 a.m., the 24th, depending on Justice Manglotnya's schedule as well. And the clerk will notify both parties concerning the date and time of oral argument.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Is there
Thank you.
anything else?
I don't believe so, Your Honor.
Mr. Paulin? No? Okay, thank you.
I think he froze there. So just thank you, Justice Torres. So I will ask there, he's back on. I will ask the clerk to please call the next case.
CBA 20-014. Police Officer 2, Steve Topazna, Guam Police Department, and Doe's 121-100 petitioners, appellants versus Government of Guam, Lourdes Leon Guerrero in her capacity as Governor of Guam, Captain Stephen Ignacio in his capacity as the Chief of Police, Guam Police Department, Mr. Edward Byrne in his capacity as the Director of the Guam Department of Administration, respondents appellees. Appearing for the petitioners appellants is Attorney Thomas J. Fisher. Appearing for the respondents appellees is Attorney Jordan Lawrence Paulin. The panel consists of Chief Justice F. Philip Carbolito, Associate Justice Robert J. Torres, and Associate Justice Catherine A. Merriman.
Is Attorney Fisher in the virtual courtroom? I don't see him.
He is not, Your Honor.
All right. So, Mr. Pauloon, the case is currently scheduled for Thursday, May 20th, 2021 at 10 a.m. And the panel, you've heard the panel as constituted. If there's there any objection to the date and time of oral arguments and the panel as constituted?
There is no objection to the date and time, and I will have no objection to the panel.
Thank you, Mr. Falloon. And all right, we'll address at the foot of the calendar the non-appearance of Mr. Fisher, but the case has been scheduled and the panel has been accepted. And so we will proceed on the date and time as indicated. In the meantime, I would ask the Supreme Court Clerk of Court if she can try and contact Mr. Fisher and see if he can join us before we complete our status hearing this morning.
She sent me a message, CJ, that she has made efforts to contact him and that no one is answering at their office line, and they tried multiple times to get a hold of him. And he did receive a copy of the link to the virtual hearing this morning.
All right, and so we'll wait until the end of the hearing, and then we'll, if he has not joined us, then we'll issue the appropriate order to show cause. And well, the clerk then please call the last case on the calendar.
CVA 19-025, Juan P. San Nicolas and John J. Sablon, petitioners appellants versus Edward Byrne in his official capacity as the Director for the Department of Administration, respondent appellee, and the Guam Fire Department, real party and interest appellee. Appearing for the petitioners appellants is attorney Jacqueline Taitano Terlahi. Appearing for the respondent appellee and the real party in interest is attorney James L. Canto. The panel consists of Chief Justice F. Philip Carbolito, Associate Justice Robert J. Torres, and Associate Justice Catherine A. Merriman.
All right, counsels, Mr. Canto, I'm sorry. The case is currently scheduled to be argued on Friday, May 21st at 10 a.m. And the panel you've heard, is there any objection to the panel and the date and time schedule for oral arguments? And I'll start with you, Attorney Terlahi.
Good morning, Chief Justice. No, there is no objection to the panel as constituted. With respect to the date of oral argument, I would ask the court for an alternative date as I will be in transit on flight on that particular day.
When are you arriving or leaving so that we have an appropriate time frame in which we can seek an alternative date?
Yes, Your Honor. I get on a flight on May 19th at 7 a.m. I do not anticipate landing for at least a 24-hour window.
All right, you are leaving. Well, it doesn't really matter because we have a virtual format. So it's just that you need to be on land so you can participate with us. Is that correct, Attorney Terlahi?
That is correct, Your Honor. By the time that I land, I did a calculation of time, and it appears that I will still be in transit at 10 a.m. And so I am in transit to the East Coast of the United States, which does take a significant amount of time.
All right, and of course, Mr. Cantor, I'll ask you, but I would ask for your input. The date that I am going to offer as an alternative date, let me see, this is scheduled for the 21st, is the following Tuesday.
How about Wednesday, Your Honor, at that first Wednesday, where the 2 o'clock session that we vacated for the other case? Can we do it on that day?
Wednesday.
On the same week, the 19th at 2 p.m.
Jackie?
I do. Your Honor, I apologize, but I get on flight at 7 a.m. of that day. So
on the 19th? Okay.
That's correct.
So let's consider the following week. If we're on the 25th or the 26th, I thought you were referring to the 26th, Justice Torres and Justice Merriman. First of all, let me ask Attorney Terlahi if she's available on the 26th, Wednesday, for
yes, Your Honor.
And
yes, Your Honor, I can be available on that date.
Attorney Canto?
As am I, Your Honor. Thank you.
Justice Torres and Justice Merriman, is there any objection for us rescheduling it for the following week to accommodate Attorney Terlai's travel schedule to Wednesday, the 26th at 10 a.m.
That's
I'm
fine.
available.
All right. Okay, councils, we will then, and the clerk of court will note that this case will be rescheduled for Wednesday, May 26th at 10 a.m. And there's no objection to the panel. Any other issues that we need to address in this case?
Just, Mr. Chief Justice, just for the record, appellees have no objection to the panel as constituted.
Right, I
Thank you.
apologize. Okay, and there are no further comments or concerns in this case. Councils, I will want to thank you for your participation this morning, and I ask Justice Torres and Justice Merriman and the clerks of court to please stay on the virtual hearing so we can address the order to show cause in reference to Mr. Fisher. But other than that, councils, thank you for your participation, and we look forward to arguments as scheduled.
Thank you, Your Honor.